This is a specimen of a lump or a nodule that has been surgically excised from within the breast. So if you look at this, you can see it's very easily shelled out. It is extremely well circumscribed and it's got this lobulated kind of nodular shape. It is whitish in color and it actually looks relatively firm. Let's look at several sections of the specimen, and we can see the cut surface is quite whitish, and this sort of implies that it's got a high stromal or fibrous content, and here you can appreciate the lobulations. We do not see any hemorrhage or any necrosis. Necrosis would be seen as paler areas on the cut surface. So let's take a look at the microscopy. Here, the section shows an extremely well circumscribed nodule. A lot of it is quite pink, and the pink actually corresponds to the whitish appearance on the Gross assessment because this is fibrous stroma. So let's take a closer look. We can see that this is clearly a biphasic tumor. It has got these slit-like compressed epithelial elements, and these are surrounded by a pinkish and some areas grayish stroma. Let's take a look at them one by one. The epithelial component we can see has got a bilayered lining. There is this layer here of cells outside with very clear cytoplasm, and then there is another layer that is inside. So these outer cells are the myoepithelial cells and the inner cells are luminal cells. So it's almost like an original ductal structure or a lobule that is now compressed by this stroma. This is benign epithelium. The stroma itself is relatively hypocellular, and it is composed of these bland, uniform spindle cells with a fibrillary background. There is no significant hypercellularity of the stroma, no necrosis. Mitotic figures are actually not readily identified. So I'm zooming out again because I want to highlight the pattern of growth.
In these areas, we can see that the ducts still remain open and the stroma appears to surround them. This is known as a pericanalicular pattern. This is most often seen in fibroadenomas. In other areas, it appears that the stroma is compressing onto the ductal structures and sometimes even going within ductal structures. And this pattern is known as the intracanalicular pattern. This can be seen in fibroadenomas and is also generally the predominant pattern in phyllodes tumors.
The last feature that I want to point out to you is the extreme circumscription of this nodule. You can see here that this is the edge, which is very, very sharply demarcated, and this is the surrounding adipose or fatty stroma of the breast. There is absolutely no invasion into the breast tissue. So this is a very well circumscribed biphasic tumor composed of compressed slit-like ductal or glandular structures that are surrounded by a relatively hypocellular stroma, and these features are classical for a fibroadenoma.